My message is simple but not easy. Black South Africans, it's time to stop actually blaming white people for all your problems. This is not a denial of history or dismissal of pain. It's a call to take ownership of your future and harness your own potential in order to build the South Africa you dream of. Let me start by acknowledging the weight of the past. South Africa's history is scarred by colonialism and apartheid systems that were designed to oppress, to marginalize, and dehumanize black people. You were made to feel less than. These were not abstract policies, they were deliberate. It was a brutal reality that stripped millions of dignity, opportunity, and freedom. The effects linger in unequal land ownership, disparities in education, and economic gaps that persist across generations. So to pretend this history doesn't exist or hasn't shaped our present would be very dishonest of me, because it's real and it hurts. But here's the hard truth. Dwelling solely on that history, pointing fingers at white South Africans who weren't even born at the time or the broader system, will not fix our problems. Blaming while not understanding is a trap. It makes you stuck, angry, and powerless. It's time to shift our focus from what was done to us so that we can do for ourselves. This is not about absolving anyone of the responsibility for the past or present inequalities. This is about recognizing that waiting for others to fix our challenges is a choice to remain dependent. We are not victims. We are survivors, we are builders, and we are creators of our own destiny. And because of that, we must talk about the present. South Africa today is a democracy. It is imperfect but hard won. Black South Africans make up the majority of this nation, over 80% of the population. We hold political power with a black-led government in place since 1994. We have a constitution that enshrines equality, institutions to protect our rights, and policies like black economic empowerment aimed at redressing past wrongs. And yet, we still face unemployment rates hovering around 33%, with black, colored, and Indian youth disproportionately affected. Poverty remains a stark reality for millions, and our education system struggles to deliver the skills needed for a modern economy. These are our problems now. And while history plays a role, we cannot keep outsourcing responsibility for solving them. Blaming white South Africans or anyone else creates a narrative that strips us of agency. It suggests rather that our progress depends on what others do or don't do, rather than what we choose to do. This mindset is truly disempowering. It turns us into spectators in our own story. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do with the tools, opportunities, and the power I have been given today? How can I take charge of my community, my education, my business, and my future? First, you must prioritize education. The apartheid system deliberately undereducated black people. But today, we have the chance to change that. Parents, let's instill a culture of learning in our homes. Students, let's value every opportunity to study, even when resources are scarce. Communities, let's support our teachers and demand better for our schools. The world is moving toward technology, innovation, and skills. We cannot afford to be lagging behind, waiting for someone else to build the schools or fund the scholarships. There's many examples of black South Africans who excel in science, business, and the arts. People like Terry Bletcher, I hope I pronounced his surname correct, who founded 3 universities, or Ntabiseng Mosesh, who built a construction empire, Richard Maponya, many more. They didn't wait for permission, they acted. Second, we need to embrace entrepreneurship. The economy may still be dominated by established players, but every successful business started somewhere. When Richard Maponya was struggling to get his daily license, that didn't stop him from becoming one of the biggest and most powerful moguls we can still remember today, even when he's in the grave. We can create our own situations like that. From spaza shops to tech startups, Black South Africans can prove that innovation knows no color. Looking at someone like Ludwig Marishane, who invented a waterless bathing product from his Limpopo village, he didn't blame anyone for the lack of resources. He solved a problem. Government programs like the Small Enterprise Development Agency exist to support entrepreneurs. If you have an idea, go for it. Stop it with your Kasi mindset. Let's use them, refine our ideas, and build wealth in our communities. Third, we must strengthen our communities. Crime, violence, and social decay hold us back more than any external force. When we allow drugs to infiltrate our neighborhoods or turn a blind eye to corruption in our own ranks, we do nothing but sabotage ourselves. It's time to hold each other accountable, not just politicians, but neighbors, family, and friends. Community organizations, churches, and youth groups are just examples to how you can lead the way in fostering pride, discipline, and unity. You don't need to wait for someone else to clean your streets to mentor our youth. You can do it. You've got hands, don't you? What's your next excuse? I'm scared to step out of the house. I need to address a possible objection. Some might say, but some of the system is still rigged. White people still hold economic power. Land reform is slow. Inequality is entrenched. Okay, that's a valid concern. Structural barriers exist, and advocating for change through policy, protests, or dialogue is necessary. But let me tell you something. There is a difference between addressing systemic issues and using them as an excuse for laziness. Fighting for land reform doesn't mean we stop farming on the land we have. You get what I mean? Calling out corporate gatekeeping doesn't mean we stop applying or starting our own businesses. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. To my white South African brothers and sisters in the audience and other South Africans of racial minority, I have a message for you too. This is not about denying your role or your privilege. Many of you are allies, working towards a fairer South Africa, as we all should be, because we're all human beings. But understand that true reconciliation requires action and not just sympathy. Black-owned businesses must happen. We need to start mentoring our own people. We need to advocate for policies that level the playing field. And when you see this message of self-reliance, don't mistake it for division. It's about taking responsibility for ourselves for a shaped future. So to my Black South African family, we need to stop seeing ourselves through a lens of victimhood. We need to stop that, because we are descendants of warriors, innovators, and survivors. Our ancestors fought against impossible odds so that I could sit here and talk to you about it. Mandela didn't spend 27 years in prison so that we could still complain in 2025 about what we don't have. How ungrateful is that? He fought so that we could seize what's possible and build from there for our children. Every time you blame others, you give away your power. Every time you take action, we reclaim it. Let's look at examples from our continent. In Nigeria, young entrepreneurs are building tech hubs despite the very bad systemic challenges over there. It's terrible over there, but they're still managing. In Kenya, you've got these young kids who are revolutionizing finance. They can do it, and so can we. South Africa has the resources, the talent, and the spirit to lead. But it starts with us, each of us deciding to act. I'm not asking you to forget your past or ignore your scars. In fact, you must carry them like a king and queen. I'm asking you to honor it by building a future that proves you can overcome anything. Because blaming is easy, but action is hard. We're not a people defined by ease. We are defined by resilience, creativity, and Ubuntu. The belief that we are because we all are. So let's stop pointing fingers and start extending hands to each other, to our communities, to our fellow South Africans, and most importantly, to our dreams. The South Africa we want won't be handed to us. It will be built by us. So let's get to work. Let's educate ourselves. Let us start businesses, uplift our communities, and hold ourselves finally accountable. The world is watching, and history is waiting. Even if it wasn't, we're doing this for our motherland. Let's show them what Black South Africans can do when we stop blaming and start building. My name is the Sambit. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.